Let's talk about the biggest credit card myth there is in this here video. The streets are talking about it, so let's tap in. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, I want to announce a giveaway. Listen, I want to help you on your journey, so I will be giving away one of these options to a blessed winner. You can choose a 1 hour coaching call on real estate, or you can choose a 1 hour coaching call on how to grow your monthly income. You can also choose a month to attend 2 of my classes that are held monthly on real estate. First winner will be announced once we've reached 100 subs. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and leave a comment below. I look forward to announcing the winner on our giveaway live, so stay tuned. Now, on to the video. Okay, right out the gate, people are talking about credit cards and whether or not you should or should not be using them. So today in this video, in addition to sharing with you the biggest myth, I'm going to share with you a personal story of mine that just recently happened to me and why I'm glad I don't believe this biggest myth about credit cards. And I'm going to share with you why it was important to me that I don't. So, what is this biggest myth? The biggest myth is people believe that debit cards are better than credit cards. People say this because you're not spending your money, you have to borrow it and pay it back. They also say that debit cards are safer than credit cards. My pushback on these 2 points is that yes, when you use a debit card, the money does immediately go out of your account, but that doesn't mean that makes it safer. Also, just because you have to pay the money back when you use a credit card does not mean that that's better than using a credit card. So, let me give you a couple of reasons why this is false. Number one, credit cards create a barrier when you make your purchases. Let's say, for instance, you go and you purchase something online and you never receive your item. Well, what you can do is you can dispute that charge and you can not ever have that money missing out of your account because the money that you spent on it was on a credit card, and it'll be easier to handle the investigation because you can dispute the charge and have that removed off your credit card through a simple investigation rather than that money going out of your account and then you working to try to have that money refunded to you that is typically a longer process than you actually disputing a credit card charge. Also, think about it like this: if your debit card ends up being stolen, nobody has access or direct access to your account. Because if your card is stolen and that money is used, again, that money is taken immediately out of your account. And now you got to work to have that money refunded back to you. And again, that investigation typically is longer because now they have to go about refunding their money. Whereas if it's a credit card, you can just dispute the charges and they can just credit that to your account. It's so much simpler rather, and it's such an easier process to have credit card charges disputed rather than you trying to get your money refunded through a bank. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still get your money refunded. It just typically takes longer than you disputing a credit card charge. Piggybacking off that second point about your debit card having direct access to your account is so much simpler. I can't scream this from the mountains high enough. It's so much simpler to use a credit card and not have them have access directly to your funds because, again, it's going to take a little while longer for you to get those funds refunded to you rather than having a credit card charge disputed. It just makes more sense to me. I would rather not have my money tied up so that I can always have access to it versus just disputing a credit card charge that they can quickly take off pending the investigation. And so to me, it's just simpler that way. So that's why I want to talk to you about it. That's why I explained to you that it's pretty much a myth where using credit cards is concerned because number one, you won't have anybody have access directly to your account and it's easier to dispute the charges rather than having your money refunded to your account. Hold on real quick. Before I go into my story, I would appreciate it if you guys go ahead and hit that like button. go ahead and hit that share button. Go ahead and subscribe or hit that follow button. And if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted every single time I drop a new video. I appreciate you guys in advance so much for doing those things. Now, let me get into this story. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened to me. But this story works a little bit in the reverse of what I talked to you about earlier, but it still works in the benefit of having credit cards. Let me explain. On the night before July 4th, I received an email that stated that my accounts were restricted due to some suspicious activity. And y'all know what that means. It was the night before the 4th. So the banks were already closed and they were going to be closed on the 4th as well. So I gave a call just to see if the 24-hour service was open. And guess what? They weren't. They were already gone to celebrate the 4th. And so, because my accounts were restricted, I couldn't get them unrestricted until I talked to somebody on the phone. And so, that already let me know that I wasn't going to be able to talk to anybody until the 5th. So, this is basically a day and a half where I was going to have to deal with this. So, what ended up happening with me? Did I panic? Did I get in fear? Because typically that would happen. If somebody didn't have access to their accounts, they would get all flustered. They would get all enamored and everything like that. But because I didn't believe this myth and I utilized credit cards to my benefit, I had access to funds to keep on going with my life. And guess what? July 4th was also my anniversary. We had planned to go out and do some things. We plan to go do this. We plan to go do that. How can I do that if I had my funds restricted? Guess what? I use my credit card. That's why I said this story works a little bit in reverse, but it works to the benefit of me using credit cards because I still had access to funds to go about and do my daily activities and go about and celebrate my wonderful anniversary. And so let me get back to this part of the story. Again, most people would have been flustered if they believed this myth that debit cards are better than credit cards. Because if they did, they would have been in this scenario flustered because they wouldn't have had any access to any funds and they wouldn't have been able to do anything because their accounts were restricted and they couldn't go and talk to anybody because all the banks were closed. So again, what ended up happening was I spoke to people on the 5th. I went and enjoyed my anniversary because nothing went off without a hitch. I still had credit cards, I still had access to funds. So my life went on as normal. And all I had to do was on the morning of the 5th was verify a couple of transactions and everything had all the restrictions were lifted. It was a real simple process. But again, I want to encourage you guys and let you guys know that could have been a totally different situation if I believed that myth. And I remember a time before where I didn't use credit cards where that exact same thing happened to me. It was like 10 years ago. Something happened. I had my debit card put up on a website and that website got hacked. I had my debit card because it was an automatic transaction. I was using it for some business purposes and that credit not the credit card but that company got hacked, and because they got hacked they had access to my debit card, and good thing that the bank shut it down. But the company got hacked on a Friday, and so when the company got hacked on a Friday, they shut my accounts down and I couldn't do anything until that Monday. And this is when I was only using debit cards. And so at the time, that weekend was so extremely frustrating because I couldn't do anything. Good thing I didn't need to purchase much because what I had to adjust and do was just eat the food that I had at home. I already had enough gas to last me till Monday, and I had money to I had cash at the house set aside just for little emergencies like that. And so basically, what I'm trying to let you know is check this out. That situation was a whole lot more frustrating because it changed my schedule up. It changed how I did things for the entire weekend. Well, fast forward 10 years later, what ended up happening? No frustration. I used my credit card. I kept going on with life. And I simply got the investigation taken care of on the morning of the 5th by just simply verifying a couple of charges and all the restrictions were lifted. I'm here to tell you that the benefits of using credit cards are plenty. and they're not better. Debit cards are not better than credit cards based on the things that we discussed today. And so, with this particular story, I just want to let you guys know again, because I utilize credit cards and because I don't believe the myth, in any situation that can arise, your credit cards can be a benefit to you rather than be a negative to you. Man. So in conclusion, debit cards are not better than credit cards. As a matter of fact, I can make an argument that credit cards are better than debit cards. But we'll leave that up for the comment section. We'll leave that up for y'all to talk about down below. So let's get down in the comments and let's talk about what y'all thought about what I discussed about today. I really love to hear your thoughts. I really love to see your comments. So I appreciate you getting down there and let's talking about it. If you would like to participate or apply for any credit cards, check the links in my description, check the links in the comment section, and see if any one of those credit cards will be a benefit to you. I appreciate it. Also, if you would like to be a part of our coaching calls, check the links for those calls as well. We want to make sure that you have all the information available to you to help create a better life for you because that's what we're all about. So again, we appreciate you for checking out this video. We appreciate you getting down in the comment section and talking about the things that we learned today. And guess what? We'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Peace.